welcome to our show, Health and Wellness Myths versus Facts. Now, the primary difference between health and wellness is that health is the goal and wellness the active process of achieving that goal. Now, you can't have health without first achieving wellness. But, this is at a time when our lives have become more sedentary than ever. More than 1 year into the pandemic, there are still people who are working from home, people who are hesitant to step outside. Long working hours, poor food choices, lack of physical activity have all been factors that have contributed to a variety of lifestyle disorders, including obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. Now, hypertension and type 2 diabetes are also common comorbidities for COVID. Hypertension is twice as frequent in patients with diabetes compared with those who do not have diabetes. So what do we do in all of this? Well, arming yourself with the right information and knowledge is key to preventing both conditions. Then, all you need are medical experts to get you that information and put you on the right track. Well, that is exactly what this show is hoping to do. And we have with us today Dr. A. Ananda Sagari, MBBS, MD, Gandhi, FFFM and FDM, Fellowship Family Medicine and Diabetology, Martin Luther University, DIN, Diploma Nutrition, Blackford Center UK, Consultant Physician and Diabetologist with Sunshine Hospitals, Hyderabad. We're also being joined by Dr. Amit Kumar De, MBBS, MD, Diploma in Geriatric Medicine, DIP, MSc Diabetes from the United Kingdom, Consultant and Internal Medicine and Diabetology of the Apollo Sugar Clinic in Kolkata. Thank you both very much for being with us. Let's, get into it straight away. Dr. Ananda Sagari, let me begin by asking you, we're now seeing lots of elderly people, of course, with hypertension. Is hypertension an inevitable condition that comes with old age then? Are we all going to sort of have hypertension in some form or another when we reach a particular age?
No, I wouldn't call that so, because it is not like an inevitable condition for us at our older age group. I would rather put it this way, that a premeditated condition like hypertension can come when our blood pressure rises. And there is a set of normal pressures, something like 130/80, which is stipulated for all the age groups. But as we attain the old age, that is above 55 or 60 years, our peripheral resistance, or rather I would say that our blood vessels start getting thickening. So the blood which flows through these vessels is definitely flowing at a high pressure. So at the older age group, 140/80 or 140/90 is also considered as a normal blood pressure. But having said that, there is a trend which is observed that with the old age, everybody starts getting the blood pressure, but we cannot account it like everybody would get the blood pressure at the older age group. We can definitely prevent it with a very good lifestyle choices and practices.
All right. Thank you for that. Dr. Amit Kumar De, let me bring you in as well. Now, hypertension seems to act as some sort of precursor to diabetes also. Now, what are the common causes of hypertension and how are hypertension and diabetes linked exactly?
Yeah. So to begin with, we first have to understand that diabetes is a chronic metabolic disorder. And just like we are fighting the COVID pandemic, we are actually silently fighting a metabolic pandemic of diabetes. And like you rightly said, that diabetes and hypertension coexist and they are interlinked in many ways. Now to go into the possible causes of diabetes, now start with, you see, we Indians or Southeast Asians, by our ethnic origin, we all are at a risk of developing diabetes. So that is the race and the ethnicity which can act as one of the positive factors. Besides this, you have family history, genetics, and also aging. Also a process by which diabetes can develop. But these are certain non-modifiable risk factors that can cause diabetes. If you look at some of the factors which you can modify, and that's why we say diabetes is a lifestyle disorder, that is primarily our lifestyle. So what is important is sedentary lifestyle. So one who keeps a sedentary lifestyle is more prone to be obese, more prone to have higher insulin resistance and develop diabetes. Similarly, other factors, alcohol, and obesity, as I said, is a very, very important trigger that rise to that.
Right.
Coming to the
Okay. Let me also bring in Dr. Anandasagari at this point. Can hypertension actually be cured? Can I actually, for instance, stop medication if my readings are normal constantly for a week or 2 weeks or for a consistent period of time? What should a patient with hypertension do if otherwise he or she is managing to keep things in check?
Very good question, Ankita ji. Thank you for asking. Very well said. Hypertension is a metabolic disorder, all right? So I would like to clear it once for all that hypertension is not an infection or a viral fever that you could use the antihypertensive medications for a stipulated period of time and stop. That cannot happen. You need to probably continue using the medications. But having said that, if you promise to have a very good lifestyle in terms of having a low salt diet and having a regular exercise, which are good lifestyle practices, and you're daily monitoring your blood pressures, if they are under control or probably always being low, then with the help of your doctor, keeping in loop in consultation with your doctor, you can stop the hypertensive medication and probably restart them as per his suggestion. But never attempt to stop the medication on your own suddenly, as that could lead to cerebral attacks or brain strokes, as we all know. So, right. Hypertension can never be stopped. The medication should never be stopped without the consent of your doctor.
All right. So, Dr. Dey, the combined impact of diabetes and high pressure can sometimes lead to other conditions and events as well. So, if you could tell us a little more about, these common complications that people with diabetes and hypertension may actually have to deal with.
Yeah, very good question. And that's why we call diabetes as a multi-system disorder. Because it's just not about blood sugar, it is about every other outcome that we get. Again, if we try to classify diabetes and hypertension coexisting can affect the smaller blood vessels in your body and the larger blood vessels in your body. The complications that arise effect on the smaller blood vessels are known as the microvascular complications. And they are named eye disease, which is retinopathy, and these get affected by nephropathy, as well as the nerves of your hands and feet can get affected in the form of neuropathy. When you look at the larger blood vessels, the manifestations come in the form of either a brain stroke or a heart attack or peripheral vascular diseases in the lower lid. And you might also know that diabetics are at a very high risk, almost fourfold risk of developing.
Okay. Dr. Anandasagari, during the pandemic, people were obviously hesitant to go to their doctors to check blood pressure. Many people purchased home monitoring devices to measure their blood pressure on a frequent basis. Would you say that there are concerns about the accuracy of these devices? Is there a right way to use them? Is it better to have someone coming over with one of the, the sort of older fashioned devices? What would you recommend?
I think in the current situation of the pandemic and the rate with which it was spreading, the COVID, if I can say that, it was advised to stay back at home, as we've been telling everybody, stay home, stay safe. So something is better than nothing. So it's good to have a home monitoring machine with you, and all you need to have is the right procedure to monitor it. I would rather say that if you have a source at home to measure your blood pressure, make sure that there is a dictum. Put the machine, your heart and hand all in the same line. I would rather say that patients to spread their arm on a dining table so that the arm and the heart are on the same level, and put the machine beside and measure your blood pressure, preferably on the right hand. That is the correct procedure. Never let your hand keep hanging down, or probably the machine is too high. Never do that. All the machine, the heart and the hand should be on the same line on a dining table, and you can measure them randomly at home. One thing to keep in mind, if you are measuring it at home, never measure it soon after you have a coffee, alcohol or tea, or not soon after you ate something, or definitely not soon after talking a phone call. Because at these times, generally also our blood pressure would be a little high, and anytime getting the blood pressure checked with the help of a practiced professional like a doctor is definitely good, but something is better than nothing. So you can also measure it at home. More or less the values are the same. Slight variation of 5 to 10 mm of Hg is the variation observed, but that's not harmful.
All right, that's very practical and useful advice. Thank you so much for that. We will take a very quick break at this point on health and wellness, myths versus facts. Coming up, why hypertension is affecting younger people more and more now, and the impact that lifestyle changes have been having on hypertension. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Health and Wellness, Myths versus Facts. As long working hours, poor food choices, lack of physical activity all contribute to a spike in lifestyle disorders, including obesity, diabetes, hypertension and heart disease. We're discussing ways in which you can take charge of your life and try and control these conditions. Dr. Amit Kumar De and Dr. A. Ananda Sagade are with us. Dr. De, to you now, people with both diabetes and hypertension need to take extra precautions, clearly. So what sort of precautions would you advise? How frequently, for instance, should they be monitoring their blood pressure and blood sugar levels also?
This is something which is very important, that especially during the pandemic, that we don't miss upon our follow-ups for diabetics. What is very important is timely follow-up with your doctor. That's one thing that helps you keep your blood glucose levels under steady control. So normally what all the guidelines recommend is a 3-monthly checkup with your doctor, wherein you will be testing your fasting plasma glucose, postprandial glucose, a glycosylated hemoglobin, perhaps every 3 to 6 months. And besides this, once every 6 months, you must monitor your lipids, your liver function, your kidney function, which is the urea creatinine, and also the protein that comes out in the urine. We call it the urine albumin creatinine ratio. Beyond this, what is very important, especially for the diabetic hypertensive patient, is to get their blood pressure checked. And this is important that during every physical visit to the doctor, the blood pressure gets monitored. And not just that, as we had already discussed, there must be frequent monitoring of blood pressure at home. Sometimes we also see that there is a difference between the clinic blood pressure and the home blood pressure, so we recommend to take an ambulatory blood pressure reading. And right at the end, once every year, every diabetic individual must get their eye screening done to rule out diabetic retinopathy, and they must also get a ECG done. And the ones which are having comorbid cardiac condition might also need to get an echocardiography done and get a cardiac checkup. So this sums up as the overall checkup that a diabetic patient needs to do.
All right, that was a very clear summing up indeed. Dr. Ananda Sagade, now, let's talk a little bit more about diets. Right now, everyone is exposed to social media. The internet is just flooded with different types of diets. You get extensive advice on what to do if you're hypertensive, what to do if you're diabetic. But, that's not medical advice at the end of the day. Viewers tuning into this program would want to know, what do they need to really focus on in terms of a diet when they have diabetes and hypertension? As a doctor, what is your advice to them?
Definitely. So since we all have our mobile phones, so at the blink of an eye, we have the diets in our hands. First and foremost, make sure you do not copy or, practice the diets which are advised for others, because each individual's health condition is different. No two people can practice the same diet. The best thing is to avoid high salted foods like, outside manufactured foods, junk food, pickles, pickled vegetables, and too much of sauces and too much of oily foods should be avoided. On a day-to-day practice, make sure that your plate is colorful, loaded with lots of vegetables, fruits, and some amount of carbs also. Completely condemning using carbs, that is rice and roti, completely stopping them is not helping, is not going to help, and that is not even advised. So make sure it is a balanced diet, which is healthy and home-cooked food. Use definitely half a liter of oil per month per person. Limit the uses of extra sauces and everything in your diet, and make sure that you're also exercising along with this balanced diet. Keep the junk food almost at bay, and if you can't, then probably once in a week is okay.
All right, an important reminder there for all those who are practicing high protein, low carb diets that is not feasible or sustainable on a long-term basis. Dr. Amit Kumar De, if a person would be able to control his or her blood sugar through a diet, would it actually help to control hypertension as well?
Yes, definitely, because over the years, with all the studies we have seen, that diabetes and hypertension are interlinked. both in the physiological manner and in the therapeutic outcomes as well. Now, as you said in the beginning of your show, that all hypertension patients are actually at a higher risk of developing diabetes, almost twofold risk, and vice versa. And we have also seen that there is an increased insulin resistance in hypertensive patients, which actually give rise to high blood sugar and increases the glycemic variability in these individuals. So yes, it's very important that to keep your blood glucose under control as well as keep your blood pressure under control, because they coexist and they both need to be controlled together.
Right. Dr. Ananda Sagare, we've been talking, of course, about how lifestyle disorders have led to this spike in hypertension. But, would you say that that is uniformly true for men and women, that they're all seeing sort of, greater risk of hypertension? Who's more at risk?
Ideally, in the prior decades, there was a trend which was observed that men were twofold more at risk of hypertension compared to women. But now, in the last decade, what I have observed is the prevalence of hypertension both in men and women is almost the same. There is no sex or gender variation as such, but there is a very significant change which we have observed. Priorly, the hypertension was only noticed in the older age group, that is above the age of 50, 55 or maybe 60 years. But now that trend has slowly shifted to the middle age group. People as young as 35 years are also getting diagnosed with hypertension, all owing to the sedentary lifestyle, work from home aspects, and not having the physical activity, not really working out or exercise, and loading yourself with unnecessary carbs and calories is what is leading to the shift of hypertension from the older age group onset to a younger or the middle age group onset. So lifestyle modifications definitely play a very significant role, can be preventing in getting the hypertension. We can all keep that at bay.
Right. Dr. De, one last question to you before we wrap this up. We're talking about regular monitoring of levels, but what should be the normal blood pressure range when it comes to Indians?
Right. So I'm going to keep this very simple so that everybody understands and goes home with a straight home message. That is, any blood pressure level which is above 140 systolic and or 90 diastolic has to be treated, whether diabetic or non-diabetic. Now what happens is, the target blood pressure varies according to age and the other comorbid conditions. But most of the international and our national guidelines recommend that for every individual, we are going to keep a blood pressure level anywhere below 130 and around 80. 130 as a systolic and 80 as your diastolic pressure. Only the ones who are little elderly, so that is above 65 years of age, with other comorbid, cardiovascular complications, as in had a stroke or had some kind of a CVA, etc., would probably target the systolic pressure somewhat between 130 to 139. But for the entire general population, the target systolic blood pressure has to be around 120 to 129, and diastolic blood pressure has to be around 80. And any blood pressure above 140/90 has to be treated.
All right. Dr. De, Dr. Ananda Sagare, thank you very much, both of you, for being on that program. We've talked about a range of subjects, how family history and age can be major risk factors for hypertension. Of course, sedentary and stressful lifestyles can cause both diabetes and hypertension, and indeed are doing so right now. There's a veritable epidemic that doctors are witnessing. But controlling blood pressure, adherence to medication, can all help, and of course increasing your activity levels as well. But as always, close monitoring and keeping track of the latest information will help as well. Thank you for joining us on this program. Thanks for watching.